Kia ora, good evening. New Zealand scientists have made a breakthrough in the fight to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. By genetically modifying clover, they've found a way to make cows belch less, as well as cutting back on their flatulence. The methane from cows is a major greenhouse gas, and we'll look at the significance in a moment. But first, Samantha Hayes joins us live from Hamilton with this exclusive report. Samantha.
Mike, this breakthrough being announced here tonight is of international significance. Remember, half our greenhouse gas emissions come from agriculture. But there's a catch. Genetic modification is extremely controversial. In this glass house, New Zealand scientists have accomplished something that could change the dairy industry forever.
We've taken a single gene from rabbit's foot clover and put it into white clover.
It's genetic modification which activates tannins like those found in red wine and that give tea its brown colour. But most importantly, nutrients that were once only found in the clover flower become available in the stem and leaf. No cow has chewed it, but scientists are excited.
They'll be more productive, more meat and milk. Secondly, they will be less bloat, less of the animal health and welfare issue, and finally there'll be lesser greenhouse gases.
AgResearch has been working on the project for years, but hasn't been confident enough to talk about it until now.
I think there's 2 or 3 groups in the world where this could have been done, and in fact there have been several groups in the world who've been trying to do this, and basically our guys got in first. That's great.
The world's food production needs to grow by 50% in the next 20 years, but with that comes twice the agricultural emissions. AgResearch estimates its clover could reduce methane emissions by 10 to 15% and have huge benefits for the climate.
I regard it as the holy grail, and basically what we've got here is some technology that's exerted some DNA in the plant that gives these benefits, and I mean these benefits are really big for agriculture and the environment.
But these benefits can only be achieved through genetic modification, something the Green Party opposes.
Why should we let them not only pollute our rivers, which they're already doing, but also pollute every pasture across the country with genetically engineered clover? What's in it for New Zealand to do that?
Although AgResearch is talking genetic modification, the process doesn't involve another species, just 2 types of clover, and Greenpeace is relatively relaxed about it.
It looks like it's not our version of genetic modification. So in terms of all the kind of scale of options that you could have to start addressing climate change, this is certainly not the Frankenstein version. If it is genetically engineered, we shouldn't go near it.
AgResearch say they make no apologies for it being a GE crop and want to see it benefiting New Zealand farmers.
It's out there in the grass, in the New Zealand environment, so I want to get it out there.
Realistically, that release is still at least 15 years off. Mike, this research is so sensitive that one of the scientists involved didn't want to be identified. But on this occasion, the controversy may not be so extreme, and that's because the scientists are using genes from 2 plants which are very similar.
Samantha, you mentioned in your report that it could be 15 years before this new clover is released. Why so long?
Well, look, it's taken decades even to get to this point, and there are many applications and consents which need to go through before any sort of field trial can even take place. And look, the crop itself is just very small, and they need to take seeds from that. So 15 to 17 years is just a realistic timetable.
Samantha, thank you. Per head of population, New Zealand's methane emissions are 5 times the global average. Most of the gas comes from cattle and sheep, along with swamps, landfills and fossil fuel reservoirs. Melissa Davies explains why natural gas is so bad for the environment.
This contraption doesn't bear any resemblance to animal anatomy, but it is in fact 6 artificial stomachs like those of a sheep or cow. Scientists can feed the machine different food and measure how much methane gas is given off afterwards. There's no foul smell, but methane is accused of fouling the atmosphere by warming it.
In terms of a gas that can absorb heat, infrared radiation, and be implicated in global warming, it is extremely potent.
Methane is one of 3 greenhouse culprits.
But we are unusual. Worldwide, carbon dioxide is the big problem. In New Zealand, methane and nitrous oxide make up close to 50% of our emissions profile, which is extremely high by normal developed country standards.
The latest figures for New Zealand show 19% of greenhouse gas emissions come from transport, 26% from energy sources, 6% from industry. The biggest contributor is agriculture at 47%, and the impact of waste is 2%. Of those greenhouse gases, 35% is methane, 48% carbon dioxide, and 16% nitrous oxide. So carbon dioxide is the biggest contributor and also the fastest growing greenhouse gas emission, thanks mostly to road transport. But methane is potentially more damaging. Just 1 tonne of methane has the same impact on the environment as 21 tonnes of carbon dioxide. Here at the Greenhouse Gas Research Centre, scientists will soon test the genetically modified clover, but already indications are that it will reduce methane gas. Melissa Davies, 3 News.